introducing you guys to and bringing you guys along with me on my Robinhood journey. Now, we will get into the app in this video, but I did want to stop right now because there are two very important things that I need to say. One, you see greatness. How about them boys? Don't hate, doesn't look good on you. Second, they're just as important as you hitting the like button and sharing the video and subscribing if you haven't already. Just had to throw that out there. But back on topic, I'm excited to introduce you guys and bring you guys along on my Robinhood journey. But I do want to step back. Why am I talking about investing in the stock market right now? With everything going south, so much so that we went from a bull market to a bear market with, we'll call it a particular virus affecting a lot of industries, everything from the sports, professional sports, collegiate sports markets to oil prices. Why am I talking about investing now? Well, we'll get into it later in the video, but I do want to say this is a very good time for investors to buy into the market. We'll get into that later in the video. But there's a second layer to that, apprehension. Robinhood, unfortunately, has been in the news lately for all the wrong reasons. Horrible PR experience. They've been in the news because multiple reasons. Everything from promising a 3% return on the money that sits in the account. They're being investigated and monitored for that by the SEC. Along with other things, to making what I consider to be errors out of ignorance. They had 2 days where essentially they went black. So investors were not able to take advantage of one of the days, which just so happened to be March the 2nd, which is one of the biggest correction days in the market since 2008. It was actually 3 separate days that Robinhood experienced difficulties with the app. It was actually the day I just mentioned, March the 2nd, which was all day. That very next morning, March the 3rd, and then that following Monday, March the 9th. Speaking of March the 9th, that was my oldest sister Tiffaney's birthday. Love her to death. Again, happy belated birthday again. If you guys are not familiar with my sister, have a YouTube channel. I will leave the link to her YouTube channel in the description. Please, 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 if you guys can go over, check out her content, like, subscribe, share, and comment on her videos. Support and love would be truly, truly appreciated. We actually did a video together, which was my first video, and her showing me tremendous love. I appreciate her so much. The title of that video was Money Matters. Just a quick overview. We're not licensed financial advisors, just touching on a couple of things that I think a lot of people assume that money's talked about in households, even when we're young and even as adults. And sometimes it's stuff that we already know, we just sometimes need a reminder. So anyway, if you could go over, check out my sister's YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share, and comment, as well as go and check our video out that we did together, Money Matters. Again, link in the description. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. The love would absolutely be appreciated. But let's get back into it. I get that, and I fully understand that. Again, I go back to, I think the errors were made out of ignorance. They may agree with me. So much so that they've agreed to retain an independent consulting company to ensure moving forward they're doing the right things. I think that Robinhood, the company, didn't understand how complex the rules and regulations are when it comes to being a brokerage. They are very, 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 very complex. So moving forward, they've agreed to retain that independent consulting company to help them and ensure that they're doing the right things moving forward, and they're aware and educated on all the nuances of being a brokerage. So in my opinion, based on all the feedback, all the research, oh, by the way, hit the like button, subscribe, and again, you see greatness. Sorry, just had to go on that tangent. With all the feedback that I've collected and received, and all the research that I've done, I think we will be okay. A couple of quick reasons. Again, I addition to that, I'm a beginner investor, much like a lot of you are watching this video, or intermediate investors. So our money that we have invested with this brokerage, Robinhood, is insured by the FDIC. So up to $250,000 of our hard-earned money is protected and insured through the FDIC. So worst case scenario, if Robinhood was sued so many times they had to go out of business, we're going to be protected up to $250,000 and insured by the FDIC. So I'm nowhere close to that. Looking forward to getting there, but for now, I think we'll be all right. So, in my opinion, again, I think that Robinhood is going down the right tracks. In life and in business, sometimes you have to fall and bump your head and make mistakes in order to learn and get on the right track. So, moving forward, I'm going to show you where I am now in terms of my Robinhood journey, give you a brief overview of how to use the app and what the app offers. And in addition to that, this will be a two-part video series. That's 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. I'm a numbers guy, so that's sad. So two-part series. I probably should have made it a 5-part series. So sort of like how many championships this particular team has. Okay. Whatever. So let's get into it now. If you stay tuned through this video, and of course through the second part of this video, at the end of the second video, I'm actually going to purchase a stock just so you see how that looks and how easy it is to invest with Robinhood. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
All right, guys, I'm excited, so we'll go ahead and jump into it. We'll open up the Robinhood app, and welcome to my Robinhood experience. I first want to start by saying, me personally, my focus in this Robinhood app moving forward is to build up a stock dividend paying portfolio. And we'll quickly get into that. And this is, again, more for, beginner investors like myself, or intermediate investors. I'm all about knowledge is power, and I love to be exposed to new things or hear people talk about things, even if I'm familiar with them, because we can always learn something. So for me, we will sort of show you the difference between individual stocks that don't pay dividends versus dividend stocks, which do pay out dividends. So Robinhood, upon its introduction and even now, has changed the game in terms of being able to invest in the stock market. With charging no fees has absolutely changed the game. Even right now, there are a lot of brokerages where you have to pay $6 to $10 every time you purchase stock or trade stock. So if you think about it, if I only have $40 to invest, you're already taking 6 to 10 of those dollars because I have to cover these fees. And that's when I buy it. Then when I decide to sell it, if and when I decide to sell it, I have to pay again. So, and if you, again, looking at investing to the stock market should be a long-term focus. Long-term meaning 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, or more, depending on how old you are, where you are. But it should be a long-term focus. So being able to build up that wealth over time is essential. But if I'm paying, $6 to $10, every time essentially I make a transaction, that adds up so quickly. And if you add that up across the space of 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that equals thousands and thousands of dollars, and it could be hundreds of thousands depending on how much you invest across that space of time. But that just adds up to too much money. So that's Robinhood has truly empowered people to maximize their opportunity to invest into the stock market and allow all their dollars, all our dollars, to work in our benefit and to be dedicated to what we want to do, which is build wealth. So we'll get into the app. I'm going to just hit on things that I use. There are a lot of features that Robinhood has afforded everybody, but I'll get into some of the things that I use. And as time passes, again, I'm going to check in about twice a month, and I'll do the either $100 to $200 twice a month. But I'll check in. You guys will be with me on my journey, and then we'll slowly, we'll get into some of the other features. But first things first, I did want to start by saying I am in no way affiliated with Robinhood. I am not getting any commissions or anything. But what I am going to do is what the picture on the top right says: free stock. I'm going to include my link in the description, my referral link in the description. The thing I also like about Robinhood is when I initially set up my Robinhood account, you get a free stock. That's everybody. But in addition to that, once you set up your account and you receive your free stock, now that's free stock up to $500. That stock could be worth up to $500. For me, I think my stock I received was Suncor. I think at the time it was like $32, $33. But if you think about it, that's 32 or 33 free dollars in stock. I'm gonna take that all day long, all day long. But in addition to that, once you set up your account, and we'll hit that free stock at the top right, now you can refer other people, family, friends, coworkers, whomever, and as they use your link and they actually set up their account, they'll not only get a free stock, but you'll get another free stock as well. So it's a beautiful thing because there's no cap on how many people you can refer. In addition to that, I like it because there is zero minimum balance required. So this truly gives beginner investors a legit and powerful opportunity to invest into the stock market and maximize their dollars, tell their money where to go instead of it being clogged up by fees and such. So I really love that feature. As you see on the top left, investing amount is $996.52. Now that is a combination of actual stock. I'm going to bounce over the bottom icon on the far right. Looks like a person. And I'm going to go to investing, the second tab. This will give you more of a breakdown of what's in that $996. Again, just getting started. I started investing again in like the 8th of last month, 8th of February. So this gives a breakdown on the right-hand side. There's actually just under $900 worth of stocks and then $100 cash. Now you'll notice that just below that circle or that graph, portfolio or allocation of the portfolio is buying power. So I just bought, if you look back up at cash, I deposited $100 before I started this video, but I went ahead and bought one stock of Nike, and I'm going to continue to invest in Nike. So now it was like $73.20 or somewhere in there. So that's why you see the difference in cash versus buying power, and I'll show you that later. Instant deposits. I love this app because it allows instant deposits, meaning typically you have to wait 3 days until that money goes from your bank into the brokerage account. But by then, who knows, the stock that you wanted to buy may have increased in price. So now whatever you requested, unless you gave yourself a buffer, may not be enough. But this just maximizes your power as an investor to make so I can take advantage of any buying decisions I've made or decided to make right now versus having to wait. So and as long as you maintain good standing with your bank and with Robinhood, you'll be in good standing, which it says instant deposit health, good standing. So that's just what that means. Now, Robinhood, again, I would recommend Robinhood, and I think it's perfect because their theme is just simplicity. They want to make it easy and simple for you, the beginning investor or intermediate investor, to be able to invest and become a player in the market and build wealth. Now, with that said, crypto people, options trading, and day trading can survive on this app and can live on this app. But for me, I think there are other sources that are catered more towards that, and we'll get into some suggestions I wish they would add that would make the experience even better, which I'm more than satisfied with Robinhood now. And again, I would recommend it to beginners or intermediate investors because it just simplifies the whole. But we'll get out of there bounce back over, and I'll show you just a couple of features here on the screen as we move down. So you see the line chart there. It defaults to 1 day, meaning today's performance. But it goes from 1 day to a week to a month, 3 months, 1 year, and then as you see when we get to the individual stocks, it'll show 5 years worth of market performance. In addition to that, as you see me sliding my thumb, you can pinpoint specific dates and performance peaks and lows. So for me, I use that with individual stock to sort of additional interest and research. I like to look back and see sort of, okay, I wonder why that spiked up, and you can see sort of trends in that particular stock. So I'll go and look at those times and see what the climate was. Were there external influences that caused it to increase, or what was that particular industry doing? What was the position of that company, that specific company then? Was it carrying a lot of debt, or, did it buy another company out? What was going on? So that'll give me some historical knowledge and data, and not just only for that company, but possibly for the industry. So it's all about insight and empower yourself and making sure you understand that company and that market to make more sound and informed investment decisions. So it'll scroll on down. Again, it'll give you buying power. This section, it just gives you some articles to look at. Typically, it's going to be sort of household names, big companies, but it may also be some of the companies that you're invested in if they're smaller companies, not necessarily household names. But it's good information to consume. And really, for me, I look at everything as a starting point. Just for you to go and something piques your interest, do additional research and find out, look into it, but I think these are some pretty good articles that usually I'll scroll through and just read the articles just for good GP, and you never know what you may stumble across in there, or may help you make a buying decision or turn you on to a company to say, oh, okay, man, let me do some further research into that company and make sure I'm comfortable with it and see, what the financials and everything are. I might want to invest into it. So as we move down, it'll show you in the stock section, it shows you the stocks that you're currently investing in. As you see, I don't have a whole lot of stocks now that I'm investing in, but I do want to give you an example. So Aurora Cannabis is, of course, in the name, one of the cannabis companies that I invest in. Some people are hot on this. Some people don't believe in it. For me, based on the research that I've done, feedback that I've received, things I've seen, looking into the market trajectory, the climate now, this specific company, even looking at the financial position of the company, ownership, how they, are leveraging their debt and minimizing their overhead. They're expanding into a couple of countries, foreign countries now, I think 3 countries now, to bring down the overhead cost of manufacturing, just to try and keep up with the medical demand internationally. That's just a medical international demand. And if you think about it, one of the strongest and most powerful markets in the world is here in the United States. So to bring that into perspective, long story short, just imagine when all states have legalized marijuana, that's when the game is going to change. That's when I feel that there's going to be that pop and be that spike in a lot of these not a lot of these companies, but some of these companies, in terms of increase in the prices of their stocks. So it does not pay dividend yield, but we'll go through it and see. And you can look, as I mentioned, I'm gonna go straight to 5 year. You can scroll over and see the performance. Now, again, this is all complete legalization here in the U.S. For recreational and for medical. So I think that's going to be an absolute game changer. Also with that graph, currently it's a line graph. You can switch it to a candle graph, a little bit different feel. So aesthetically, if that's better for you, you can read that easier. You got options. It's always going to give you your position for each company that you've invested in. I don't have a big position in this company at all. Again, my focus moving forward is really going to be dividend stocks. So I think I will get my shares to maybe 550, 600. But that'll be passive, and I'm not going to really focus on it because, again, I'm focused on building that dividend portfolio. So long term, with consistency and time, I want to get close to either living off of those dividend payouts, or it's supplementing most of my income or coming close, or even, being in addition to what I have going on then to ensure that, one, I want to retire early, but two, I can have a respectable retirement. 6, the stats, what that particular stock has opened at the beginning of the market day. As you see, it's 68 cents. And the good thing is, if you look at the very top, it shows you what the current market value is, so you don't have to do all that scrolling and everything. But anyway, what it opened at, what the high and lows were for today. This is applicable to that market day. And then what the 52-week highs and lows were, along with the average volume cap or market cap, I apologize, PE ratio, and then if it pays out dividends or yields. Again, this particular company doesn't. So with these, and the difference between the two is this particular, you're dependent on the value and the price of the actual stock itself. Whereas with the dividend, now, with that said, that's where with great risk comes great reward, because that's where you tend to find those huge hits like, I bought in low and I was able to sell high. For example, your Amazons, your Teslas, the list goes on, where they start off low and they don't, the two aforementioned companies don't pay dividends, but it was exceptionally great opportunities because they are out there. Not every company is going to do that, but they are out there. Whereas, man, you can really, really, really make a smart investment and turn that money into just multiplied exponentially. So if you feel that you've been informed and you're well versed on a company, I say take your shots. Again, you can eliminate risk because there's just inherent risk built into the market itself, regardless how you invest. But the idea is to mitigate that risk based on your risk tolerance. And for me, I'd rather not. I want some risk, but I want something that I know is going to be more consistent. Again, show you the side of the house for dividend paying stocks. As we scroll down, it's going to give you some news, either specifically relevant to that particular company that you're looking at or to the industry. And these are articles, and if you click on that, it'll actually take you directly to that source, so you can read those full articles, and you can even branch off to other sources in reference to the same topic or company. As we scroll down, analyst rating, it just gives you their feedback and when they see others doing and through their lenses and what they feel, essentially people should be doing with this particular stock. So 14% of people say buy, 60% of the analysts say, 67% of the analysts say hold, and then 90% say sell. And then if we scroll further down, again, it's just more references and more feedback. Now, this particular is cited by Morningstar, and it's the bulls on the left and, of course, bear on the right. Bulls are going to give you reasons, and I clicked on it, of why you should buy it and some of the things that that particular company is doing well. And then, of course, bears is going to be the opposite. Maybe why you shouldn't buy it, or some of the obstacles that they have coming or are dealing with now, or even potentially why you should sell. And as we move down, earnings. So this earnings calendar is going to go back, and typically starting in the center is going to go back 2 quarters and going to go project forward 2 quarters. You'll see just under the earnings calendar, it's going to show expected EPS, which means expected earnings per share, and then over to the right, that bright green actual EPS, what they actually did for that quarter, what the company actually came in at. So again, they're going to expect it as more of the projected based on what the company says that their goal is, what they're expecting to do versus what they actually did. So that gives you, again, more data consumption for you to make an informed decision. And it's not an excessive amount here on Robinhood. Again, it's supposed to be simple, but there are other outlets that you can use. For example, Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance is an amazing resource you can tap into, but you can see do a much deeper dive, looking at financial statements, looking at trajectory of the business, looking at even the history of the dividend payouts, where the business is, how much debt they truly have, the asset allocation. All those things are important figures and facts to have when making a decision in terms of investing in a company or evaluation, or looking at a company saying, is this really going to be around 20 years or 15 years from now? Or what direction is it moving to? How's the industry doing? Is it going to be phased out by automation? Things of that nature you're able to look at on some of those other resources. Even M1 Finance has a little bit more in-depth resources available to you, but a lot of people will tell you that Yahoo Finance. So as we scroll down, people also bought, it just gives you a quick, and that's actually another cannabis company I invest into, Canopy Growth, the first one on the left. But anyway, for individuals that bought this particular stock that we're on now, some of the other stocks that they purchased. Now on this featured, I call this my quick links or snapshots, because it allows you, like engineering or 100 most popular stocks, it allows you sort of snapshots and to get segments of the stock market to look at and sort of see what's going on out there and what other people are doing. This section is going to give you any history with you buying or selling this particular stock. And then at the very bottom, it's going to give you a snapshot of the company itself. Show more. It'll give you an idea of what the company is generally about. It's, of course, you can't fit everything into, that small paragraph. But at the bottom, when it was founded, how many employees it has, and CEO, who the CEO is, etc.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the first part of this video there. I will post the second part of this video tomorrow morning, so there's no long wait. On that second part of this video, I'm going to go ahead and finish up showing some of the features that I use on the Robinhood app, as well as some more information in terms of my mindset, investing moving forward, and what I intend to do and hope to do on my journey. I sincerely, and if you know me at all, I just don't say stuff like this for no reason. I sincerely appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch my video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Please share the video and like the video for the YouTube algorithm. It's going to be moving forward a variety of different content you guys are going to see on my channel. I look forward to visiting with you guys and seeing you guys. My focus is to do videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays of every week. I'm going to go ahead and purchase a share so you guys can see what that looks like and how easy it is to use the Robinhood app. Guys, thank you so much again. I appreciate you so much. Much love, and